Okay, so let's see. Hey, hey. Hello, whoever is here, welcome. I'm just starting up at the moment, as you can see. Everything appears to be fine, which is awesome. As you can see. Okay, I can hear myself on the stream, so that's awesome. Okay, so I just need to figure out exactly how to place everything. 2 screen is not enough for streaming, I have to say. Oh, I can't believe there's 6 people here already. I mean, this is the first time I'm streaming on YouTube and everything seems to be going so well. I mean, it's just the start. Welcome whoever's here. Hope you're frequent viewers of my channel, because of course otherwise you wouldn't really find me, I suppose. So let's see, we've got a laser, which I've casted before, and just to let you know, I'm going to be casting this in the form that I would do for YouTube usually. So I will be addressing YouTube as at the start of the video, and then later on I'm only going to be responding to comments and questions in the chat afterwards, so in between casts. Just so you're not thinking that I'm ignoring you, because I'm absolutely not. If you experience any lag, let me know. I think YouTube is pretty good with preventing lag on the streams, but just in case, let me know, of course. Right, okay, we've got State. Who is State? A Protoss from the United States. The name kind of should have given away that. So Protoss State. He is here. He's teamless, and he is from the USA. Cool, cool. That's all prepared. Hello, Macaulay. Is here. Right, okay, let's pretty much begin at this point. I think that the one big advantage of this of streaming on YouTube is you can actually set the quality without being... Sorry, I'm partnered with YouTube, but I'm not partnered with Twitch, so I do have the ability to basically set the quality on YouTube. How long? I'll probably do it for about 2 hours, maybe. It really depends. I mean, your sister's in the other room, so you know. Alright, let me just get some water and I'll pretty much begin with that. Oh, okay. Aha. Awesome, so it's Zerg versus Protoss. Let me just get some water one second. Alright, let's get this show started. Now, I do think I need to reduce the sound. Of course, if the sounds are going to be off, let me know, because I do need to set up everything for YouTube perfectly. Sorry for this noise, by the way. Yes, I know, that would have been very, very loud. That was me moving the gooseneck on my mouse, which is, of course, very, very noisy. So let's begin with our game. Just need to make sure that I am indeed recording this. And let's get going. Hello YouTube, welcome back to another game of Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. This is going to be another best of 5 from the round of 32 from the Dreamhack 2016, which was held at the end of January. This is going to be between Elazer and his opponent State. So let's begin with this game very, very quickly. So on the top left hand side here of Arena, we have got Elazer spawning as the green Zerg. Now Elazer is part of Team True Esport, and he is also from Poland. Now his opponent is going to be a Protoss player spawning as the red here, and his name is State. State kind of has a hint of where he's from in his name, and that is the United States. He's currently teamless according to Team Liquid Wikipedia, so that is definitely something to note. And let's see how our players begin off here. So quite interestingly enough, Elazer not going for anything here, so he is going to be going for a hatchery pretty much straight away off the bat here, before even bringing out a drone and the Overlord here for the extra supply. So that's definitely interesting to note. Let's see what we've got in the Protoss base. Just one gas being put down. In fact, he's only got 2 workers on it as well, so that's a little bit peculiar as well. And let's see, he's building up his gas, so he's going for an expansion at this point, I would say as well. Probably not expecting any sort of all-ins or very early aggression. He's already seen what's exactly inside Elazer's base. He sees the timing of the spawning pool, which I'm going to confirm. Did he see that indeed? Yes, he did. So of course he's going to know what's going on here. Now I've just a quick question of the series. I'm going to introduce a recent one that I've already done already. What is your favorite pro player? So I've asked this, I would say probably about maybe 20-30 videos ago, so I hope you guys don't mind me asking it again. But yeah, I do need to make up a bunch of questions to ask during the series, which of course sometimes might be repeated. So leave your comments in the comment section. I would very much appreciate that. Looks like we've got a second gas coming out here from Elazer, so that's definitely interesting. That means he's probably going to go for some sort of tech right now. And seeing the fact that he's only got 1 gateway, I would almost imagine that this is going to be a Stargate. So let's see if that's exactly what's going to happen here. What is going on in Elazer's base? Currently got metabolic boost, no gas being mined whatsoever, or harvested even in this case. So looks like he's going just for a bit of macro. Probably going to open up with another expansion here, which is actually exactly what he's doing. Another gateway being thrown down by State. Now this is going to be spotted pretty much immediately, so State is going to know exactly what's going on here. Looks like putting down a pylon. This is probably just to prevent any sort of early aggression. So again, he's delaying the inevitable of the Zerg forces moving straight into his base. And just a note as well, I'm going to be probably streaming everything that I do on my recordings so far. So it'll be streamed and then it'll be uploaded as an edited video, you know, with like a final production like my usual videos do. So just a note, and I do see somebody asking on the chat, you know, if the chat is working. It is working, but just a note, I'm not going to be responding to any questions or anything until after each cast. So in between videos I will be responding to any messages you have, so just to keep that in mind. I'm not ignoring anybody. I am just basically just focusing on the cast itself, for Roach Warren coming down here from a laser, definitely something to note. 3 bases means he's possibly going to do some sort of Roach timing push. Does have 2 gases right now, which means if he pops up a 3rd one, it's definitely going to be some sort of Roach Ravager play. And we'll see, of course, how that plays out. He's being very, very cautious. He does have a Spore Crawler in one of his bases already. Now, looking at State's side, he did have 2 gases quite early, so I would have assumed that he would have gone for the Stargate, but didn't opt to go for that. Oh, okay, I see. So instead of the Stargate, he's been saving gas pretty much for a Dark Shrine. So this is going to be some sort of sneaky shenanigans going down here. Now let's see what a State is going to do now. Just to note, there's a proxy gateway here. And a bunch of queens as well, right up the front here. So halfway across the map already with the queen. This pylon going to delay this by just a little bit, overcharging it just to scare off whatever's there. Now these queens would be able to handle that quite easily. Now just to note, there was a patch which was applied just very, very recently. In fact, I believe I downloaded it today. So that patch is not going to be effective in this one. This was held at the end of January. I think it was something like the 26th or something like that. So just to note, that's not going to be effective here at all. There wasn't really that much significant changes there. I think there was a nerf to overcharge pylons, and there was also a nerf to Adept. So, you know, it's a bit of a kick in the balls for the Protoss, but not a huge thing. So there we go, the timing push coming down here. There's actually queens as well, so this is kind of looking like an absolute, not so much an all-in, but a very, very aggressive push here. If he loses a lot of these queens, he would be in quite a terrible position. So there we go, overcharge is going down. Now just to note, army supply is very, very heavily favouring a laser right now. He's got 46 to 20, which means that if this aggression goes on, actually look at that, the Dark Templars right in here. This was looking pretty grim for State, but then with these Dark Templars in position, this might just go in the other direction. And oh my god, he's managing to take out so many of these units. Is there an Overseer on the way anywhere around here? I don't actually see it. So these Dark Templars just going to have absolutely havoc on these queens. And that is actually quite a huge loss. I mean, he hasn't been able to respond to it. And you know what? Let's have a quick look. There's not even... Oh my god, this is absolutely deadly right now. There was never a layer prepared for this. So a laser in so much trouble right now. So these depths going to possibly do... snipe off this hatchery, which actually would be a bit more significant than you'd think. I mean, he did get this hatchery up just to get the economy rolling, but now that he doesn't even have that anymore, you know, I think he would have even been able to move in here even further, do a bit of damage, maybe snipe off a few more workers. Overseer is going to be in place, after which these Dark Templars are no longer going to be that useful. And there we go, the aggression moving back down. Still has a hugely favoring army supply. The only thing is he doesn't have the huge army, the huge supply, not supply, a huge economy boost that he did before. So 19 to 48 workers right now for a laser. I think that State, believe it or not, it's actually in quite a good position despite the fact that he was about to be overrun at the very beginning of this game. And now there's Dark Templars in the fray. There's also an Overseer overhead, so gonna have to be very, very careful with how he engages with them. He needs to use them with his force, otherwise they will very, very quickly get sniped off. So let's see the huge engagement going down here. Blinkstalker's moving straight in here as well, and State just going straight all in into these units. I don't think he's scared of them whatsoever. He does have some corrosive biles going down, blocking them, and a laser. GG's out. State takes game number 2. Very well played here, I have to say. Holding off against that with Dark Templars. Quite clutch gameplay here. That is pretty much that for game number 1. Alright, so let's have a quick look at the chat. xCloud 2001, welcome. Yeah, oh, cool. So that's good to know that it works on mobile. I didn't actually know that. And yes, Adepts, 3-shot Marines, and also SCV, so that's actually quite a nice nerf. I was speaking about this a long time ago. It was actually back in probably maybe the first or second week of casting. I thought that Adept 2-shotting workers was overpowered altogether, so having that there now is definitely a very important change. And I think that they correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they 3-shot Marines now as well. Unless they have level 1 upgrade, in which case they do 2-shot it then. But if they have level 1 upgrade, they also 2-shot workers. So that's also something to note. Right, so just going to rename that quickly before I move on to game number 2. Seven people watching. I knew this was going to be a lot better than Twitch. I mean, Twitch is... It has its upsides and, you know, it's a bit more prepared for streaming, but the way I see it, Twitch is just not... Like, when I was trying to stream on it, it was lagging so much. I stream with open broadcast software, so it's OBS. It's a free software, so you don't actually have to pay for it, but I suppose maybe it's not as versatile as what's it called? XSplit. I tried XSplit as well, but had the same result on Twitch, so I kind of stopped using it, didn't want to pay for it. Now just to note as well, there's about a 30-second delay, so even when I'm in the chat here, it might take a while before I actually see your comment. It's about 30 seconds. Not entirely sure what the exact delay is, but it is about 30 seconds. Okay, so that was Laser versus State. There's a PVZ. Correction, a ZVP. Game 1. Dreamhack 2016. Alright, game number 2 is Lerlac Crest. Same players. It's a best of 5, by the way, so whoever wins 3 games first is the winner of this one. So let's move into game number 2. By the way, don't be scared to leave me likes on the stream. I would very much appreciate that, just simply because it kind of helps promote the whole thing. So if you want to pretend that it's a video and just leave a like on it, that would be super awesome. That's cool. I try to give as much information as possible. I mean, that is pretty much the whole purpose. I mean, my personal race is Zerg, and I don't actually play that much at the moment. I don't have a huge amount of time. I do a lot of casting, and as well I work full-time, 40 hours, so yeah. So I'm going to jump straight into game number 2. So obviously, as I said before, I'm not going to be talking on the chat, or to the chat, for just a few minutes, obviously while the game lasts, and when I'm done with the actual cast, I'll move back onto the chat and have a word with you, okay? Cool. Let's begin over here. Okay, better switch the game as well. And by the way, before I start, very good that you like my videos. Obviously, I hope you're subscribed already. That's probably how you found me. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The only thing that I think is a bit of a disadvantage of casting online. Am I not tired? Well, it's 8 PM. I'll be tired. But, you know, life moves on. You can be tired and still be a bit energetic. But as I was saying, the one disadvantage of probably doing the cast on YouTube is that some people that will be watching here will actually probably see some of the videos before I upload them, which I hope that's not gonna, you know, reduce my view count altogether. But then again, getting the views on the stream is also quite nice. So yeah, let's begin. And before I start, I am from Ireland, so I have an Irish accent. I'm originally Latvian, so I don't know if there's a mix of that. I speak Russian and English, and Craft Play Games here is actually my fiance's brother, so yeah, just that. So let's begin with the game. Hello YouTube, welcome back to another game of Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. This is going to be the second game of our best of 5 here between State and a Laser. It's a Protoss versus Zerg, and I hope you have seen the previous video. If you haven't, it is going to be in the description, in the comment section, or rather in the description section, and there'll be a link there to the previous game. Let's start with our comment question of the series. Who is your favorite pro player? So if I had to speak for myself, I would probably say for Protoss, probably Showtime. For Zerg, I would have to say TLO, and TLO/Blyde are actually really awesome, both of them. And the Terrans, I would probably have to say either Marine Lord, he's been doing really good lately, or I would have to say Bunny. So let's introduce our players very quickly here. On the top right hand side of Lerlac Crest here, we've got State. State is hailing to us from the United States. He's currently teamless, and as you can see here, he plays Protoss. Now his opponent from the same game as previously, it is a Laser, and he is a Green Zerg in this one. He is on Team True Esport, and he is from Poland. So it looks like a Laser actually going for the hatchery, and he did put that down before the spawning pool, which is actually quite standard. And yeah, so sometimes you might even see a double expansion at the very beginning on 4-player maps, just simply because it's very hard to actually to rush in a map like this. So spoilers are coming. If you haven't seen a previous video, I would very much recommend watching that on the description. There's the link there, because I'm about to reveal the score. And the score is currently at 1-0 in favor of a Laser. So it was quite a nice aggression from a Laser, but he got punished really bad with Dark Templar, so that kind of went really bad against them. That lost all of his queens, lost an expansion, and at that point the economy was so much in State's favor that, you know, Laser just could not catch up with that. So let's see, we've got a double gas coming down here from State. So last time I thought he was going to go for a Stargate quite early on, but the question is going to be whether he's going to do that this time or not, because, you know, you can imagine Dark Templars worked really well the first time, but are they going to work better a second time? Honestly, I wouldn't think so, because I would expect a Laser to actually go ahead and get himself a layer quite early. So doing the same thing here with his probe, just scouting out to see if there's an expansion, which of course... And there we go, Starport is being put down, so he's kind of seems to be doing the same thing twice. Not so much as the same build, but he's actually opted to go for the double gas and then doing some sort of heavier tech very early in the game, which I think is pretty cool. It's nice to see people moving out of tier 1, tier 2 tech units, because believe it or not, up until very recently, that's pretty much been everything that you'd see in StarCraft. I mean, for Terrans, for example, all you would see is Marines and Siege Tanks. For Protoss, you would just see Adepts and sometimes, believe it or not, just sometimes Stalkers. Now, in previous expansions, Stalkers were pretty much there all the time. Not just a little bit, but pretty much all the time. Whereas now they're just starting to get back in there, because of course there is an Adept nerf, and also the fact that Adepts are only good against light units, but pretty much they were very difficult to deal with at the start, and then they got a bit nerfed as well. So this is the second Adept nerf, to be honest, since the expansion has been released, which is quite good, because they are, I believe, a little bit overpowered. They cost a lot, but I think they just have too much utility and too much damage. So there we go, the Oracle is on the way. Looks like we've got a Roach Warren being put down as well. Now Oracle, typical timing for an Oracle is to be in your base at about 4 minutes 30. So if you're playing as a Zerg or a Terran or even a Protoss, really, if you want to prevent getting nuked by an Oracle very early on, really, you should have some sort of anti-air or even anti-air units prepared at roughly 4 minutes 30. So let's see how close this time is going to be. It's probably going to be very close. I mean, it's 4:15 right now, and he's just about to approach the base. And just to note, he's building Phoenixes straight after this, so going to potentially snipe off a few Overlords with that. Let's see what he's going to do here. Starting to take out a few units. There we go, the Spore Crawler. Actually, just notice the time as well. 4:27 is when he started killing units, so just about on time here. And just to note, 4 minutes 30, that means that he's pretty much went straight for that tech. He didn't absolutely rush it and ignore every other bit of tech, but he, you know, he did go fairly early, like pretty much straight for it. And typically that would be after 1 or 2 gateways. In this case, I think it was 1. So that Oracle has now killed 6 units, which in my eyes is roughly a fair trade. I would generally say that if you see 8 or 9 kills on an Oracle, and a lot of them were drones, probably mainly drones, then at that point that is probably a worthy trade. Now this Overlord just doing a bit of scouting, probably going to spot these Phoenixes. Getting a few more kills here with that, and oh, there we go, nice, very nice bit of scouting here. State giving away the fact that he's got a bunch of Phoenixes. and also actually managing to supply block laser for just a short space of time. So there is overlords on the way, so that's going to be undone very quickly. Hydra's then being put down here as a response very quickly as well. Let's have a quick look at units lost. Looks like 8 drones for 1 probe. So I believe that was probably all from the Oracle, which, as I said, 8 to 9 drones with an Oracle is definitely a worthy trade. And is quite heavily favoring you, so that's pretty nice. So again, since this is a new video, I'm going to quickly just advise that I am streaming pretty much every time I'm casting on YouTube now. So if you keep an eye on my channel, I will have those details there. So I pretty much stream at the very beginning, so that's pretty cool. And there we go, managing to snipe off a queen, a nice pick off here. And about to stream me as well. This means that, yeah, if you are watching my streams, this means that you are probably going to see the videos that I upload a few days in advance, because I typically upload something like, you know, maybe 2 or 3 days in advance, just in case I'm not actually able to schedule stuff. That way I'm pretty safe to still have 2 to 3 videos released on the day that I'm not actually able to do anything. So let's see, just picking off more and more workers at this point. Let's have a look at the total. 9 have been killed off in total. But I think these Phoenixes are still doing quite a lot of damage here, managing to snipe off Hydralisks and Queens already. Yeah, he did destroy a few Hydralisks. There we go. Is going to manage to pick off this Queen as well. It does have quite a lot of health, and these Hydras coming in here as well, managed to snipe off one Phoenix. Other one is very, very low here. Is he going to lose it? No, he's not. I think this Overlord also going to start dropping, and this harass play is really, really well. Oh, look at that. This Oracle is not actually dead. I thought it died earlier. So that's pretty awesome for State. He's doing so well right now against a Laser who, in my eyes, is actually quite a high caliber player. He's been doing quite well in recent times. I don't remember quite how high he got in previous tournaments, but he's definitely been doing pretty good. Oh, nice pick off here with the Hydras. Managing to get one volley off, 2 volleys off rather. Just thinning out the ranks just a little bit. And what is that? Is that a lurker? No, it's actually Ravagers that he's making here, so probably planning on breaking through all of the defenses here. So let's look at this army composition. Looks like he's got a few Adepts, 3 Immortals, and just 1 measly Stalker. Not a huge lot. But I think that this is actually... Oh, nice barriers here. Managing to split up this army, but at the same time, such nice Gross of Biles landing onto that Protoss army. I think that that did a little bit more damage than a Laser expected that to do. So, very nice here for him. These Phoenixes, I have to say, they've paid for themselves like 3 or 4 times over. A lot of overcharges there. Now that was a lot of overcharges. Where is that Mothership Core actually? Because that must have cost him so much energy. I don't even see it. Am I blind? I think I'm blind. Oh, no, that's not it. That's... Did he snipe it off? I probably missed it. Yeah, I did, because he's building another one. And there we go, the engagement going down here. 90 supply in favor of against 50. Is he going to have enough here? The Phoenixes are still flying overhead, being very, very pesky. If he loses these robotics facility, this could be the nail in the coffin right now, because those make such powerful units. And definitely going to be causing problems. Dark Shrine is on the way. Is it going to be fast enough to defend off against this? Honestly, I don't believe so. I mean, at this point, he's destroyed quite a lot of units. He's done a lot of economic damage as well. And by economic, I mean production facilities. I mean, he's got no robotics facility right now. And Dark Templars, they did get warped in. There was a few of them, but they did get destroyed, of course, because there was an Overseer. There is one left in the corner here. Probes being transferred away, and oh my god, this is a terrible position for State now. I think that this is going to be brought up to 1 apiece, simply because this push is just denying him so many buildings right now. And I think that this is pretty much it. There's absolutely nothing at this point that State can do to defend off against such a huge army. I mean, 6 to 1 or 2. I'm just going to call it here, right here, and GG is called Laser. 1 to 1 apiece, bringing the series up to a tie, and we're going to be moving on to game number 3. Alright, back to the chat. Let's have a quick read of any comments. Ooh, I suppose I should edit the visit youtube.com/Vaipo Gaming with just like a quick you know, just subscribe to my channel, because, you know. Alright, let me just have a quick read. You've left a lot of stuff here. Awesome, from Canada. So it's like, what, 3 p.m. for you right now? It's pretty early. Okay. Yeah, I don't think he needed infestors there, to be honest. Did I check hitbox? I don't know what hitbox is. Let me go away. By the way, there's no lag or anything like that. It's not blurry or spitting, you know, buffering. Let me know if there's anything. Let's set up the third game while I'm having a quick chat with you. I think you know what I'm going to do actually? There's supposed to be some sort of add button. I want to test that out, see what it actually does. Where is it? Bum, 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 bum. Okay, I don't actually see it anywhere here. What's a slate insertion? I didn't ever hear of hitbox, but to be honest, if YouTube streaming is gonna work nicely, I'm gonna just stream here, because realistically this is where I want to build my audience. I mean, it's my YouTube channel, so it makes very little sense to actually okay, so there's what the slate in. Okay, that is really weird. That seems to last forever. I need to get rid of that. Just 1 second, it should go away anytime now. Okay, I'm gonna do a test here to see what an ad looks like, because I honestly don't know what it's like. So don't freak out. This is just an ad. I want to see if it actually shows up for myself as well. I don't have ad block enabled because obviously I'm partnered, so if I watch my own ads, why not? Thank you for the likes, by the way. Awesome. The more I get, the better, because it'll promote the stream and hopefully it'll pop up for some people who would like to watch some Starcraft 2 games. So I'm going to load up game number 3 while I check what the ad does. And just to note as well, there is about 30 to 40 second buffer before you see what I'm saying. Yeah, that pretty much explains it. So if there's an ad, let me know, because it might not show for me. To be honest, a lot of annotations and such don't actually show for me, despite the fact that I do have them in place. Right, so best of 5, let's set this up. Alright, so was there any ad? Somebody? Honestly, I think that the game switched in already and there was nothing that I saw. Your plans Discord, you mean is that if you want to post my stream or my YouTube channel anywhere, you're very welcome to. I mean, it's just advertising for me, which is pretty awesome. I would very much appreciate that, xCloud. That's cool. That's very nice. Yeah, if any of your buddies ever watch Starcraft 2 videos or procasts or whatever, if they're interested, of course, send them my way. That would be very much appreciated. Now I'm going to be moving into the game, so I will be back to the chat after this one as usual. So let's jump into this one. Hello YouTube, welcome back to another game of Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. This is going to be the third game between our two players here, a Protoss versus Zerg, and it's going to be State versus a Laser. So this is the third game of the best of 5 from Dreamhack 2015. It is the round of 32. And let's see how this one progresses. Now the first thing I'm going to do is mention the question of the series, which is going to be, what is your favorite Starcraft Pro player? So it doesn't really have to be Starcraft 2, it can be from any time. I mean, Jaedong was super popular, I would say, probably even up until probably Heart of Swarm even. So, of course, if you want to leave a comment in the section below, of course, you're very welcome to. And let's move into this. So, let's introduce our players very quickly. On the bottom left-hand side here, we've got the red Protoss. And this is State, who's representing absolutely nobody right now. He is unfortunately teamless, I think for about a year now. And he's from the United States. Now his opponent, a Laser, spawning as the green Zerg on the top right hand side of Central Protocol, and he's representing Team True Esport and he's hailing from Poland. Now the links to the previous games are going to be in the description below, so if of course you've missed those, you're very welcome to check it out, because scores are about to be displayed. And let's see how players start out. Pretty much similar to the last time. It does have a 1 gas with 2 workers on it, and also the gateway on the way here. And the 1 hatchery expansion into a spawning pool for a Laser. Now scores are coming up now. Nothing really too spoiled here because it is currently 1 apiece, which is a perfect score to be continuing on. Let's see how this one progresses. So Central Protocol is actually a very interesting map if you ask me. The reason that I say that is there's quite a few interesting points about the bases here. So I'm going to start off from the point of view of the Zerg. So the Zerg has a lot of running space. It's a huge map. It has quite strange running paths, because if you run from this base up to the top right to the top left base, your unit has to make a trip like this. So I'll show you on the minimap right now, which is very, very awkward if you ask me. And I believe that if it's up to down, it's pretty straightforward, just straight to the ramps, and that's a bit strange. So anyways, the Zerg have a nice advantage in this map, because if you look at the chokes, this is the natural base choke, and this is from the natural to the pretty much open world. Those chokes are huge. Like, to block this off, like here you see you have to put 2 main buildings to actually block this off. Whereas here, I don't even know how many, it's like 3 or 4 that you need to put down. It's quite difficult to block this off. But even this one, it's a very big choke. I mean, having a bunch of Zerglings, let's say, surrounding here, you can have, let's say, 2 there, about 3 or 4 there, a bunch here as well, which I would say even probably is upwards of 7 or 8. And the Zealot will just be sitting here, you know, just slapping himself, saying, how the hell am I supposed to get at those Zerglings without them running past? So yeah. Just an interesting point of view from that. Now in terms of rushing into a base also, there's also this choke here. So this is another ramp which is pretty much at the back of the base. You need to destroy a bunch of rocks with it, and it's very easy to spot when this is of course happening. So Zerg tend to do this if they're trying to rush your base, or of course you can do it with pretty much any race if you're trying to catch somebody off guard and they have, for example, a Terran wall up here. Now, in terms of Terran, of course, they're able to use their Reapers to climb up these walls anyway, so it doesn't really affect them that much. But the actual engagement surface area of the Reapers is not huge here, not that big, because all it is really, if you have a few queens here or something like that, you would be able to defend that quite easily. From the point of view of Protoss, again, it's similar to the basically trying to sneak into a base with the Adepts. They can get in quite easily because the chokes are so big, and of course they can surround your units quite nicely as well. So let's look at the production. Oh my god, yet again going for the Dark Templar Shrine. So missed a lot of that tech, but there we go, managing to catch the Dark Templar Shrine before, or it's actually just called the Dark Shrine, so let's not call it too long because it's already a bit of a tongue twister as it is. Stalker is probably not going to take that out. Yeah, there it is, safe. And these Zerglings just going to run around, see what they can spot. Kind of get boarded off here, not a whole lot that they can do. Let's have a quick look at the tech that we've got from our Zerg player. So a laser currently going for the lair inside his main base. Does have spore crawlers on the way as well. Now spore crawlers, I suppose even if your opponent does not go for phoenixes or even what are they called, oracles, at this point you still see that that the Dark Templars are going to be in position now, and the Dark Templars are going to be spotted by this, so it basically gives vision of them. So let's see what he's going to manage to do with these. Now if there's a lot of defensive units, which at the moment there's not, but there will be very shortly, he will be spotting these Dark Templars very quickly. I think instead of focusing this queen right now, he should be taking out the, and there we go, he's doing just that. So at this point, definitely going to want to get himself an Overseer, which is on the way. Going to probably be able to snipe off this hatchery before this gets here, but he's going to get surrounded by a bunch of roaches just to prevent them from running. So there's a total of 4 right now. Definitely going to get that sniped off. Move on away, just run Dark Templars, run for your life, because once that Overseer comes over here, you are absolutely toast. But of course they're a little bit faster than Overseers because he doesn't have the Overseer upgrade movement speed just yet. So what is this? This is a Hydralisk Den being produced. So Hydralisk not very good against Dark Templars, but they are indeed very good against any sort of flying unit. So let's see. I mean, at the moment there's no Stargate at the moment, and interestingly enough, he's broken down the actual ramp here, which means he's got another choke here to block off. It's a bit of a strange move, to be honest. But of course, these guys are the pros. Now I didn't actually take a good look if State is a pro or not. I know that a laser is, but State I'm not actually sure about. So looking at tech right now, Ravagers, Roaches, Hydralisks are all that a laser is making. Does have the muscular augmenting, I'm not entirely sure what that upgrade is called for Hydralisks. Basically makes them move faster and also shoot further. Actually a very nice upgrade. So ooh, interesting enough, this is going to get spotted pretty much straight away. Now just to note, there is just 4 zealots inside of that. Moving on away from here, does look like 2 Archons. Ooh, these Archons going to get sniped off very quickly if he's not careful. Only a little bit of health. Now Archons, they're very interesting units as well. They've got 350 shields and just 10 health. It's something that's been there for quite a long time. It's nothing new, but I find them quite fascinating because, you know, they have this very quickly regenerating health, but at the same time I think they're not quite as strong as Ultralisks. The one advantage that they have, of course, is the fact that they can shoot air. So this harassment not doing a huge lot with these zealots. Let's have a quick look at units lost. Looks like 6 drones versus 1 probe. There was an Archon lost there as well, so that's actually quite significant. Ooh, interestingly enough, losing a few units there as well. There's been 8 total zealots. Those were actually the harassment units inside the base. He did lose an Archon to this army just now while I wasn't watching. And let's see what he's going to do here. Will he be able to manage to deny this base? His army supply is actually quite a lot bigger. He's almost double right now. Mothership Core has just been sniped off as well. There was force fields down, but no more force field energy left. Overcharges are not repelling a laser at all. He doesn't care about them. Going straight for that Nexus, and is going to be able to snipe that off quite easily. No problem at all. And there we go. Forcing State to go back. And actually looking at this, there is Dark Templars and Zealots here as well. So how much damage he's going to manage to do here? Did pick some of those off. In fact, he's picked off... Is that 3 Dark Templars? I believe that's a Dark Templar, isn't it? Yes, it is. So saving those, going to bring them into the base here. Possibly going to warp in a few more as well. And it does appear that he's bringing pretty much the majority of his army back, which is a little bit strange. I think that he was in a much better position to continue on with the attack. And just to note, there's actually 2 drones inside there, so that's a bit strange. I'm sure he doesn't mean to have those in there. Let's see what he's going to do with this army. Bit of a tense moment. He is expanding as well out of that as well. So that's a 4th base coming out for him, despite the fact that the laser doesn't even quite have his 3rd one set up. So going to be quite a nice position. I think that, Estate doesn't have his 3rd base set up. So I think that if he continues on with this push, he'll definitely be able to deny this again. He's got lurkers on the way as well. Changeling moving on across the map, just spotting there's no expansion here. Now, just to note, this doesn't actually see up the high ground, so a bit risky. Oh, Dark Templar is being dropped here. This will probably get dropped. I mean, these units are going to be there for long enough, and bringing them away, denying the base, that didn't actually get cancelled, so definitely something to note. And ooh, here we go. Engagement going down here. This Nexus again going to get denied, so basically taking a Nexus for a hatchery that he's lost himself. Being on 3 bases still, I think that Laser is actually doing quite well here. And there we go, Disruptors are now on the field as well, so there is going to be a few Purification Novas here. I think that he needs to get as many of these out as possible at the moment, because that is the only thing that is going to be thinning out the army supply here for a Laser. Now Lurkers have been put down, now they are going to be reaching these buildings up on the high ground. And he's actually supply blocked as well. State. Oh my god, he's actually in such a terrible position right now, losing the productivity of 2 gateways and also being supply blocked right now. I think this is not going to end very well for him. He's going to move straight into the base right from this side and splitting up his army. I think that he's actually able to take on that Protoss army even with these few units remaining, just simply because he does of course have a bunch of lurkers in the back as well. Now using the force fields just to basically thin out that army, doing very well here, managing to snipe off a few units there as well with the Purification Nova. And that's 100 supply to 50, so still double the army supply here for a Laser. And honestly, as I said, I don't think there's a whole lot that State can do here, unless he of course gets some absolutely golden Purification Novas here. Let's see, moving straight into the base here, denying a bunch of probes here. Let's have a quick look at that. 23 to 22, so pretty much coming ahead here in the harassment. He's going to lose all of these units, but his other units rushing straight in the back of this base. What is this? This is gateways being produced, and a bunch of them as that is as well. I think that if he focuses down these pylons, at that point, that is going to be the nail in the coffin. And I think that this is game. It's just a matter of time before he calls this one. Honestly, there is absolutely no recovery here. Does have a counterattack here with the Dark Templars, but as I said, I don't think it's going to be enough. There's just too many units for a Laser right now. Robotic Support Bay about to get dropped as well. 56 health on that. Doesn't quite manage to kill it. And at this point, he's just long distance mining. He does have a few here, but he will have to long distance mine very, very shortly. Army supply is starting to grow again for a Laser. As you can see, he's making roaches, he's making queens. He did make a few lurkers as well. And bringing up his 4th base yet again. I think that this time he probably is going to sit a little bit closer to it just in case he can hold it off. Now that has been spotted, just a note. That was spotted actually with a warp prism just a few moments ago. And let's see what he's going to do with this. I think that if he engages onto this, he's probably going to lose pretty much all of his army. Ooh, Roaches moving straight into the base here, starting to snipe off a few of these units. Purification Nova going down. Is he going to be able to snipe those off? Yes, he is. Well struck there. And let's see, he's managed to snipe off this hatchery, so obviously a laser probably overestimating the strength of this Protoss army right now. I mean, if he knew obviously what we saw here, he'd know that he's got such a dominating army right now. Let's have a quick look at upgrades as well. Looks like there's 2 weapons for Protoss, but there's nothing for Zerg, so that's definitely something interesting. The laser not really opting to go for his upgrades, but then again, does he really need them right now? He's got quite a superior army right now, so all he really needs to do is push. And a nice pick off here with the disruptor as well. The army supply is, the income rather, is just struggling right now for state. A nice round here as well. These units not quite going to make it up the ramp without taking some significant damage. 2 immortals was sniped off there, and honestly, he's just holding on to pretty much thin air right now. And 11 workers to 62. There's a spire coming down here for a laser as well, so if he manages to get as far as building mutalisks onto that, that is pretty much going to be game right there. This is the last mining base, just to note, the last mining base for state. So once this is destroyed, there's absolutely no income remaining for him. He's also got just 1 worker left. And there we go, GG is called. This is going to be game number 3, which means that a laser is now at 2 points against the 1 of state. Alright, and that was game number 3 of our Protoss versus Zerg. I'm going to load up game number 4 while I have a quick look at the chat. Now, I did notice there's a few people that joined in. Now, just to note, I'm not answering any questions on the chat until in between games. After games, I do get around to those and pretty much answer everything that I can. I'll load that up. xCloud, are you still here, by the way? I'm not sure if you were saying good luck, have fun, as in you were leaving or not. And thanks for the compliment. Also, honestly, I don't consider myself pro by any means, and I've only been doing this for probably about 6 weeks at this point. So it is a fairly new experience, and of course streaming is a little bit more awkward as well, because it's you're kind of on a spot, and I also cannot edit out things because I'm streaming it. So, you know, if I make a major mistake at the start, sometimes I would restart the stream, whereas or restart the recording, whereas here I can't do it. So yeah, just a note. Right, I'm gonna yes, I am working tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'm working from 7 AM up until 3:45, and I don't know when I'll be streaming next either, because I'm doing some today, and I will probably have enough games up until probably the next 2-3 days at least. Alright, let's have a quick look. Right, I'm going to be moving straight into the next game. Doesn't appear that there's a lot of chatter going on in the chat. If anybody comes in here, of course, let them know that I don't talk to the chat in between casts, or sorry, in the casts, that I only do it in between casts, just in case somebody asks. So let's begin with the next game. Actually, first thing I'm going to do is just rename the third game, game number 3. Good luck tomorrow. To be honest, you don't need luck for work, you just need to do what you're supposed to do. And that is pretty much that. Okay, let's begin with game number 3. Sorry, game number 4. Hello YouTube, welcome back to another game of Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. This is going to be the 4th game between our Protoss and Zerg players. Now, if you have missed the previous games, I really recommend looking in the description, where you will find links to all of the previous games so far, because of course starting in the middle of a series is never a good thing. So that's pretty much that. Our question of the series currently is favorite Starcraft pro player. Who is that? Let me know, of course, in the comment section below. Now let's quickly introduce both of our players here as well. So on the top right here hand side here of Dusk Towers, we've got State. State is from the United States and he is currently teamless. Doesn't have a little badge here, a little bit unfortunate. His opponent is going to be Elaser. Elaser is a Zerg player, as you can see, spawning as the green Zerg here. He's from Team True Esport and he is from Poland. And he's got a little True Esport badge there as well, which is a little Jaguar kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. So let's see how this game plays out. And by the way, scores are about to be displayed on screen, so of course the spoilers are very, very shortly coming. Just a quick announcement as well, while we're on the stream, because I am streaming pretty much everything that I'm recording nowadays, just simply because I think that it's going to be a good way to interact with my audience, so I can basically have people watching me while I'm recording, as well as potentially later on if they missed any videos. That way they can watch them as an edited and finished product, which is still pretty awesome. So just a quick note, so I stream on kind of random occasions at the moment. I will probably make some sort of schedule later on, but at the moment not really capable of doing that. So 2 gases have been put down here, total of 4 workers on those, so not really expecting too much tech going down unless he fully maximizes those as well. 2 gateways in cybernetics core, so to be honest, not really going to be expecting to see a huge amount of tech right now, just simply because he, well, you know, he has put down that the second gateway. Typically if you see 1 gateway and 2 gases, you definitely think that, okay, it's a very early robotics facility or it is a Stargate. Now Elaser has popped up 2 hatcheries here, and just to note, they were put down, I believe it was 1 before the spawning pool, or maybe even not. Definitely interesting, because I actually missed that bit. So this base half saturated at this point. This one just coming down now. Worker supply, funny enough, favoring State. And there's absolutely no aggression going down just yet, which is actually fine. I mean, Protoss doesn't want to be aggravated. I don't know if that's the correct word, but doesn't really want to be aggravated by the Zerg, simply because he wants to get his economy up, he wants to get his tech up, and robotics facility looks like is a choice of tech here. Zerglings only being put down now. Now, just to note, 3 minutes for Zerglings is very, very, very late. Typically, you'd have them out way earlier than this. So obviously, not expecting a huge lot of aggression. And just to note, he's also got 3 queens on the way. Now, the fact that he's building so many queens is kind of very suspicious. I really wonder if he is going to go for some sort of Nidus worm right now. I mean, it would make sense if you think about it. He's got so many queens, he could basically put them through with a roach timing attack and just move straight into the opponent's base this way. War Prism on the way as well, so gonna possibly see a bit of harassment with that. Now, just to note, there is a Twilight Council here, but no upgrades coming out of that yet. Oh, there we go, actually resonating glaives have been put down. Now, quick notice as well, this is pre-nerf, so currently the Adepts do hit for 23 damage, meaning they 2-shot SCVs and Marines. And a Dark Shrine has been put down. Now, State has been quite fond of these Dark Shrine plays. Now, if this Overlord manages to get over there, this will be absolutely huge. Now, 2 Stalkers are in place. Now, he's not going to make it to that Dark Shrine. Going to get taken out before getting any sort of vital information. 2 Adepts here. Now, they are probably going to drop here, but not before taking a few workers with them. Oh, just about preventing that drone from getting taken out. Now, Dark Templar are about to come out over here. And it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do with them, because realistically he's done quite well with them so far, I think. Ooh, interesting enough, 5 gases being put down right now. He could very well go for a Spire here. If he's going to put down a 6th gas, he's definitely going to go for a Spire, because there is a lair on the way. Lair typically means that he's either going for Mutalisks, or of course he could be also going for a bit of other tech. But 6 gases at this point, honestly, I don't see it being anything else other than Mutalisks. But then again, I could be wrong. He's putting down a hatchery, or oh my god, a Hydralisk then. So that is definitely interesting. He does have the gas to sustain it, but he's just opting to not go for that gas right now. Or for that Mutalisk aggression. Does have a few Dark Templars here, not making any use of them though. Now I assume there's going to be an Overseer on the map already. Yes, there is, but where is it? It is actually all the way across the map, so these Dark Templars are going to have free reign for now. Now, have they been spotted? They have now. Oh my god, he's going straight for that hatchery. State, again, going for a snipe on a hatchery. He's done this so many times right now with Dark Templars, and I think it's such a brilliant move, because there's practically nothing you can do about it if you're not prepared. There we go, getting that taken out. There is an Overseer about to get morphed in here as well. Probably going to get that up and destroy these Dark Templars very, very quickly. Unless, of course, they get lifted off. So Dark Templars getting lifted off. They're, of course, a lot more expensive. Bringing them on away. And is he going to throw down another hatchery here? No, actually losing that War Prism. That was a very expensive War Prism to lose. And I wonder why he dragged it right through his base, because that was a little bit risky. And by a little bit, I mean a lot risky. Now, Muscular Augments is now going down. It's almost complete at this point for the Hydralisk, which means that he's just going to have the slightly longer range and greater movement speed for his Hydralisks. And he is moving out across the map as well. Now, Laser, just to note, is at 2-1 at the moment. If he takes this game, he will be moving on to the next round, which is the round of 16. And let's see what he's going to do with this aggression. I mean, he's currently at 96 to 46 supply. And he could very well push straight in here. Oh, nice force fields going down, just splitting up this army, preventing the full on surround. Does have a few overcharges as well, 4 in total right now. And it does look like he's holding on just fine. I think that at this point, Laser was losing a little bit more units than he was killing, because he could not get a proper surround. There we go, some corrosive biles going down as well. Immortals are in play here, so Immortals are great against armored units, but not a huge lot great versus light and basically typical units that don't have a rating. There we go, taking out all of these units, and I think that this could very well result in a GG right now. He's running straight in here. I mean, 8 supply versus 76. And the Laser also continuing to go with this aggression as well. Honestly, this is very, very strange that there's no GG as of yet. And there we go, GG has been called. Laser takes game number 4, and that brings him up to 3-1 against his opponent. I think that he takes this series also here, so that is pretty much that. Now, funny enough, I was pretty sure that Laser won the last game. And he won game number 2. But he didn't win game number 1, so it's definitely a 3 against 1. But the funny thing is, I'm seeing another game here. And these are definitely not best of 7s. So I'm going to have a quick look at that, because I'm a little bit confused right now. If there's anybody in the stream, by the way, I'm responding to comments right now, so if you are here, do pop me a hello. I would very much like to hear from you. Let me have a quick look. I just need to confirm why this played out like this, because it is very strange. So Dreamhack schedule, because we've just went 3-1 in favor of a laser. Ah, okay, I see. Bastards. Okay, so I see what happened here. Right, so looks like the problem that happened here is actually the fact that there is 5 games, but they're incorrectly ordered on the replay pack. So basically I've casted 3 games or 4 games, and it was 1 for state and then 3 for a laser in a row, but one of those should have actually been the state win along the way. So I'm actually going to leave it at that as a 3-1, because at this point everyone knows that that a laser lost the next game. So Firecake versus Saral is the next one, which is Zerg versus Zerg. Ooh, okay, I want to cast this one. It's a Protoss versus Terran, and it's Huck versus Beastie Cutie. So definitely one I want to cast right now. So I'm going to load that up. And I don't know how long is left, probably maybe an hour, maybe a bit less. Right, let's set up our stream. Right, just be right back, just one moment. Okay, I am back. Pop, pop. I'm just gonna move that previous series to a better place. Over here, and that is 6, and that was Laser versus State, and it was Zerg versus Protoss. Okay. Okay. Let's get going with the next game, guys. This is another best of 5, obviously. And let's begin. Alright, let's start off with... Oh, actually, before I do that, because I do need to get a bit of details about the players, so I will very, very quickly get that, just so I can introduce them. So apologies for the delay, it won't be too long. Now, I've never casted Beastie Cutie, so this is a good experience to see what he's like. And he is from Serbia, and he's from True Esport. And he's a Terran player, that's interesting. Let's follow him on Twitter as well. Now, just to note, follow me on Twitter if you want to get updates on things, because I do actually post pretty much every time I do anything. So definitely worthy of a note. My Twitter is /Vaipo SC2. So it would be worth noting. Now the stream might look like it's frozen, it's not, trust me. So Beastie Cutie is on True eSport and he is from Serbia. Okay, let's begin. Apologies again for the delay. Okay, I'll figure that out later. Okay, let's go, guys. Let's go. Now, if you're in the stream and you haven't left a like on the stream, please do so right now. It is super important. Let's begin. Hello YouTube, welcome back to another game of Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. This is going to be a Terran versus Protoss with some very funky colors, and I am super happy to see that because it is obviously a bit strange to not see different colors in the game. So on the bottom right hand side here we've got Beastie Cutie spawning as the Terran, the pink Terran. And just to note, Beastie Cutie is on Team True eSport and he is from Serbia. And they've got a little icon right there. Now his opponent's going to be Hawk, who is on Team Evil Geniuses, and he's hailing to us from Canada, and he's actually got a citizenship for both Canada and US, so you could pretend that he's whichever one you want if you have a preference. He's from your country. And he's spawning as a Protoss here, obviously. Now our question of the day I'm going to introduce in this one is going to be... you know what? I don't even know. Okay, I'm gonna ask here, what do you think about the Zerg? How do you... So, if you've played the campaign, you know exactly where they come from. You know that they were created, and you know I'm not gonna say any more about that because it's a huge spoiler, but what do you think about the Zerg? Do you think that they're weird? Do you think that they work wrong? Should they not be following their, you know, their one queen, which is Sarah? Do you think that they should still be with the Overmind? And it's a bit of a complicated question. I suppose you need to have a lot of knowledge about it to actually answer it. But, you know, try your best. Obviously, not everyone answers these questions anyway, so you're very welcome to try your hand at it. So it looks like we've got double gas coming out here for Beastie Cutie. And you know why? Because he's gone for a proxy barracks. And that's a very sneaky one. Now, just going for one proxy barracks with double gas is a bit of a strange one, to be honest. Simply because it's just a bit overkill on the gas if you think about it. I mean, he's going to be pumping out Reapers out of that, and he's just going to have too much gas with it. And it looks like he's actually gone for Hawk, that is. He's gone for an expansion here on the gold. Now, there's nothing to deal with this Reaper just yet, but once this Adept comes out, it will be able to deal with this quite handily. And there we go, one shot. Oh, not attacking it. That could have actually finished it off, which is a bit of a mistake from Huck here. Now let's have a look here. It does look like he's killed off 2 probes, so at this point already paying for itself. It's actually quite good here for Beastie Cutie. Now he's going to start to do a bit of damage towards that pylon. I don't think it's worth the time that he's actually spending on it. I think that he just needs to pump out a bunch of units and then just harass. Now, funny enough, he's gone for more harassment builds. Now, if you notice here, he's got himself a factory, and there's a second proxy building here, the starport. Now, this is definitely a strange one. Question is going to be, is he going to go for liberators? It seems. So I thought he was going to actually put down a tech lab here and then continue on with Banshee play, but honestly a bit of a strange one. Honestly, I've never really seen something like this. Usually they just put down about 2 or 3 barracks and just continue on with the aggression from this side. So he's bringing his barracks back at this point, probably nothing that he can do much with it. Command center going down as well. He sees that Hawk is already gone for his expansion. He's already got it up and running fully at this point. and that means that he needs to catch up himself. Obviously he can catch up with mules, he does have that power, but he does need to actually put those mules down. Which means he needs to get more command centers down. And Hawk, as a response by the way for this cheese, actually opted to go for a Stargate. So Stargate going to be quite a good response here. I think that there's not going to be a whole lot to deal with that, unless of course, as you can see, he's got a Cyclone, so seems like he's kind of anticipating a similar move as well, just doing a bit of cheese, or at least some unprotected play. So Phoenix is the choice of build. Now Phoenix is a very good response, or a very good counter to Cyclone, simply because it can lift it off. So if you go out about 2 or 3 Phoenixes in the air, you can basically just lift off the Cyclone and just pretty much destroy it at that point. Now Liberator starting to take a bit of damage from this Phoenix. Now just to note, Phoenix versus Liberator, the Phoenix wins. But not if there's 2 Liberators, as you can see here. Oh, interesting. Spotting that starport. So this starport could actually be, or Stargate, no, starport, correction, could actually be in a lot of trouble here. He could possibly snipe that off. He does have 2 Phoenixes, 2 Stalkers in the air. Now there's a bunch of Adepts on the forefront here, so again, very dangerous here for Beastie as well. And I do think that he's probably going to manage to snipe that off. I don't really think that that's going to make it back. So probably going to need to bring it back up if he wants to continue any sort of air aggression again. Very soon got to start burning. Now let's have a quick look at what's being built. Looks like we've got more gateways being put down, more Phoenixes. And what is this? It's actually a Reaper. Reaper is just going to disrupt a bit of mining, but not going to do a whole lot with it. And Adepts are not going to finish it off as well. Boop. Gone. Now this expansion is now almost fully saturated at this point. There are a few mules in place as well. And he's building so many barracks right now. I mean, he's got, what's that, a total of 5 at the moment, which, considering the fact that he hasn't actually established this base fully, is not a huge amount, but ooh. Okay, there we go. So lifting both Cyclones off. So one Cyclone is very easy to defend or to fight off, because of course you lift it off and you kill it, but having multiple Cyclones is a little bit more of a difficult situation. So another starport being put down as well. So interesting to see that he's not actually giving up on it, despite the fact that there's Phoenixes in the air. Now at this point there's a total of 5 of them. And is that a 6th one on the way? Yes, it is. A 6th one on the way and a 7th one being produced as well. So definitely fond of his Phoenixes. And there we go. Managing to snipe off one of these Cyclones. Gonna possibly lift off the second one, but of course it'll be very risky with all of these Marines underneath. So engaging onto the main frontier, I think that he has enough units here. 50 supply to 24 in favor of Huck. He definitely has the commanding army supply, but the bunker doing so much work right now. Of course it does have SCVs behind it repairing, but at the cost of mineral mining time, which of course is a bit of a downside for him. So Marines have one of the highest DPS in the game, simply because of Stim and of course the fact that they attack so damn fast. Managing to clean up so many of these units, and this Marine army is very, very dangerous. Now he is going for level 1 bio weapons as well, so that is going to start favouring him very, very quickly once he actually gets that done. And there is, just a note as well, there's actually a gold expansion going down for Huck. He's kind of just about to complete establishing it as well. I mean, he's got a few buildings around it as well. Let's have a quick look at units lost tab. 11 SCVs to 4 probes. And also just to note, 2 Cyclones have been destroyed. There's a Liberator, a bunch of Marines. So at the moment I think that Hawk is doing better in terms of kind of overall gameplay. I mean, Beastie Cutie is not out at all. I mean, he's got a bunch of these Marines that are actually injured, but they're definitely not destroyed. He still has a very good chance here. Ooh, these medevacs getting caught out just a little bit. And it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do with them. Is he just going to use them for healing up his Marines, or is he going to also use them for harassment? I think at the moment he just needs to hold off against Protoss aggression. I mean, he's got these Phoenixes which are just so troublesome. They've also interrupted the bunker and the supply depot, and he's got an army at his forefront right now. So any moment now at this point, this army is going to start knocking on his door, and looking at army supply, it's twice the size of his. The bunker is not in place just yet, starting to do a bit of damage here. There's 2 medevacs in the air right now, so definitely going to be able to do some significant defense with this. I mean, it doesn't mean that he's going to be able to survive, but it definitely doesn't mean that he's out just yet. Now, looking at production tabs, there's actually nothing being made from Hawk here. So he's obviously very content with just pretty much sitting on his 3 bases right now and just continuing to push onto this forefront. What he wants to probably do at this point is just basically mine out his opponent. If he mines out his opponent, or at least, you know, 1 base down, which is very close at this point. There's only about, let's say, about 2,000 minerals in total here. Once that's done, Beastie is not going to have much resources remaining to work off. If you don't have many resources to work off, at that point, your opponent can just basically throw units at you, because every unit that he kills off is a huge victory for you. Now, ghosts are in place. Ghosts are there essentially to do an EMP pulse. Just basically destroy all of the energy and shields off of these Protoss units. And a very effective unit to have against them. Against Protoss, that is. The army supply is still favouring Hawk, but it is starting to catch up. I think at this point he definitely needs to put down a few command centers. Probably even try to put down 2. Good gameplay here from Hawk as well, managing to snipe off the ghost. Still 2 ghosts in play here. Now, just to note, there's not enough energy for EMP on that one of them. And oh, is he gonna snipe this one off as well? Nope, doesn't quite manage to get them. One gets lifted off, second one gets lifted off, and oh, managing to snipe them off. But at the same time, the EMPs did actually go down. About 3/4 of these units did lose all of their shields. And Adept landing straight onto these Marines. These Marines are gonna get massacred right now. Straight onto them, continuously attacking as well, and he did kill quite a few of those. Let's have a quick look at units lost tab. 18 to 16 workers as well, so definitely managing to stay in there in terms of army supply or worker supply. The only thing is his army supply is very much lower than his opponent's. Now, that transfer I think was not the best. He did get into the units, of course, getting straight up to their faces, but at the same time he lost so many of his units beforehand. But honestly, I think that at this point it doesn't really matter. The army supply is almost 4 times the size of Beastie's, and there we go. GG has been called, and Hawk takes game number 1 of this best of 5 series. Alright. Okay, so that is game number 1. Let's move into game number 2, which is going to be on Runes of Ceres. Just going to quickly rename that replay. Hawk versus Beastie QT. And that is a Protoss versus Terran in Dreamhack 2016. By the way, if you're still here, no, I'm actually not hungry, to be honest. I'm okay. Let's move on to game number 2. Just to load that up. If there's anybody new in the stream, very welcome. I do only respond to queries in between casts, so if you're not leaving anything right now, I might not get around to any of your messages until after this current one that I'm about to start casting. So best of 5. Bring that up. The reason Patty is very quiet is that she's actually in the next room, so she's not right here, just to avoid any noise. So yeah, she's been very cool about the whole recording thing. Let's begin with game number 2. Just switch the screen first, of course. Hello YouTube, welcome back to another game of Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. This is going to be another cast, a best of 5 between Huck and Beastie Cutie. Now if you've missed the previous game, I really recommend basically going back to that and watching it, because of course it's terrible to start off somewhere in the middle of a series. So just a note, a question of the series also is, how do you feel about the Zerg? Do you think that they're creepy? Do you think that they're overpowered? Do you think that they are really weird the way they kind of work through one kind of mind, as in they have a similar connection like the Kala, but they're kind of controlled only by one person rather than all feeling each other's emotions and all this kind of rainbows and unicorn stuff. So a quick introduction to our players as well. On the bottom left hand side here of Runes of Ceres, we've got Beastie Cutie spawning as the Green Terran, and he is on Team True Esport with their little Puma icon right here. Now his opponent, no other than Huck, who is part of Team Evil Geniuses, and he is from Canada. So a Protoss versus Terran is what we have here, one of my least casted matchups, and I am trying to pretty much cast every game which is a Protoss versus Terran, simply because there's just not that many of them, so they need to be casted, and I'm trying to miss as little of them as possible. Of course, if there's somebody like Huck in the game, I definitely don't miss it, because Huck is pretty damn awesome. So let's see how the game start off here. Pretty standard here from our Terran player, doing something very similar to like he's been doing in the last few games, starting off with 2 gases, despite the fact that he's not really doing anything too gas heavy. So he's throwing down the factory pretty much immediately after this. And I have a strange feeling this is going to be a very early 1-1-1 build. He's only got 12 workers on the minerals at the moment. Not even fully saturating his base right now. Now Huck, on the other hand, has gone for 2 gateways. He's also gone for a Nexus quite early on. And he does have a Cybernetics core on the way. Now I wonder if he's going to make a starport straight after this. Honestly, I have a strange feeling he will be. It would make absolutely loads and loads of sense. So let's see, there we go, starport is on the way also. Looks like we've got Widow Mine. So what this is going to be is essentially, it's going to be 6 Marines and 1 Widow Mine being thrown into a medevac and then rushed straight into the opponent's base. He knows where his opponent is at this point. He scouted him out quite a long time ago. And just a note, Huck has actually not scouted his opponent out. He knows where he is because he's checked out the other bases, but he has not actually scouted him out, which is definitely a very strange one. So let's see. Stargate has been put down for Huck as well. So Huck almost has his expansion fully established at this point. And going for the Stargate, so gonna see possibly a bit of harassment, or he might of course go for the Phoenixes. Now something I've seen in recent games, actually it's pretty much been pretty common in the Dreamhack tournament that has been held, is people tend to go for Phoenixes a lot more often than they go for Oracles. And honestly, I do not know the reason for that. It's definitely interesting that the meta shift has been done, but they're all apparently going for Phoenixes instead of Oracles. Probably because in groups of 4 or 5, Phoenixes are a little bit superior because they can just continuously lift off units, and they're also obviously very good against air units, which Oracles can't actually hit. So there we go, Widow Mine and 6 Marines just as predicted. Putting that up on the ramp, managing to snipe off a Stalker there, that is actually quite significant. Now just to note, the previous game was actually won by Huck, so definitely have to note that before this game actually ends, because I have a strange feeling that this is not going to be a very long one. And of course, if you have missed the previous games, they're in the description, or the previous game, it is in the description, so definitely important to watch that. Now still 5 Marines inside that medevac. Is he going to manage to do something with him? Honestly, I don't see him doing a whole lot. Might just snipe off 1 or 2 probes, and that is pretty much that. And there we go. Looks like we've got ourselves a command center on the way here. and a Liberator was put down, but getting destroyed very quickly here as well. There's a total of 4 probes destroyed, which I don't know if that was 1 or 2 from the Liberator, but he definitely destroyed a few with his Marines as well. Let's see what goes on here. So the second base is being established at this point. Phoenixes are in play as well. There is actually an Oracle, so he did decide to go for 1 Oracle after all. Now, it's still obviously a very effective unit. It does destroy a lot of units. It has other utility, which is basically a vision ward. So basically it casts it on a group of units and it shows you vision of them for, I think it's 20 or 30 seconds. And of course the other one is stasis ward, or status? I think it's stasis. And essentially what it does is it basically locks a group of units to step over it for a short amount of time. Now, during that time the units cannot attack or be attacked, but what it does basically is it just takes those units out of the fight for a short period of time, which, as you can imagine, is a very, very important thing to do. And GG has been called. Hawk takes game number 2, so this currently brings the series up to 2-0 in favor of Hawk. And as I thought, not going to be a very long game. There's just so much harassment going down with these Phoenixes. So very well played here, and we're going to be moving on to game number 3 very shortly. Alright, let's see. Right, let me just load up game number 3. I'm not going to delay too much in this one. Just going to move straight onto it. There's no comments in the YouTube chat, so just going to move straight onto it. Now, just a quick note for those that are in the stream. I don't talk to the chat during the stream. I basically do it only in between casts. So let's move into game number 3 right now, which is actually going to be on Orbital Shipyard. Alright, setting up. And let's begin. Now they switched up colors again, which is really nice to see, to be honest. And let's see, okay. Hello YouTube, welcome back to another game of Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. This is going to be this 3rd game between Beastie Cutie and Hawk, a Terran vs Protoss from the Dreamhack 2016 Leipzig, which was held at the end of January. So this is just slightly pre-nerf of the Protoss adepts, so definitely something to note. So let's see how this one plays out. Our question of the series is currently, how do you feel about the Zerg? Just leave some comments. I mean, if you feel that they're absolutely weird, that they're absolutely terrifying, or they're absolutely fascinating, leave that in the comment section and I will very much appreciate that. Let's see how this game plays out. Our players, let's quickly introduce them. So Beastie Cutie spawning as the yellow Terran, and he is at the top right hand side here. Beastie Cutie is on Team True Esport, and he's actually from Serbia, so definitely something to note. His opponent is going to be Hawk, who I believe up until a few years ago or something, he was actually on Team Liquid. Currently he's on Evil Geniuses, and he's from Canada. So it looks like we've got a very early expansion here from Beastie Cutie, actually doing that before the gateway, before the barracks. So definitely something very important. Barracks being put down now at this point. Now there is a scouting probe on the way from Hawk, basically just to see what exactly is going on, which is very standard. I mean, you definitely want to see if your opponent is going for some sort of cheese, if he's going for some sort of proxy, because if your opponent's going for a proxy and you're not prepared for it, I mean, that could be a 3-4 minute GG, which of course we don't want. Now, obviously, if you haven't seen the previous games, the links are in the description. I really recommend seeing those, because spoilers are very shortly about to be posted on the score tab over here. Okay, so there we go. Looks like we have a Nexus coming down for Hawk as well. Scores are now moving up. Hawk currently at 2-0. So managing to take the first 2 games of our series. So basically, if he takes this game, it is going to be pretty much all in his favor. So he will basically win the series and move on to the next round, which is round of 16. If he doesn't win, we're going to be moving on to a game number 4 and potentially a game number 5 after that to see who wins the current series. Twilight Council on the way, so going to potentially see some early upgrades, or even possibly going to see Dark Templars. Although, to be honest, I wouldn't expect it too much at the moment. I mean, he does have 2 gases, but 2 gases is honestly, you know, I'm not even going to call it, because it could very well be Dark Templars. It is a possibility. It's definitely out there. But looks like he's gone for Resonating Glaives instead, so thinking that our Terran player probably going to go for some sort of bio play, which so far is not very far off. I mean, he's got 2 barracks, and 2 barracks only. No factory just yet. The 3rd Nexus is on the way, so Hawk definitely kind of planning for the long-term game here. I mean, you don't really build a 3rd Nexus at 3 minutes unless you really don't expect any aggression from your opponent. Okay, and there we go. Stargate is on the way. So Stargate is the choice of tech for Hawk. So again, gonna potentially see, I mean, he made his opponent GG out in the last game with just a few Phoenixes and one Oracle. So a question is going to be whether he manages to do that again. Now this is getting spotted very early. This Reaper pretty much paying for himself by simply revealing the fact that there's a Stargate up. So Missile Turret is on the way. There's a factory on the way as well, and the question is going to be, is he going to go for Vikings? Because Vikings are so not popular right now. The only reason you really see Vikings are versus Zerg. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I would say that's the main time you'd really see them. Maybe against Terran as well, but you know, that's a mirror matchup which you can pretty much play anything with. So Command Center on the way for Beastie as well, going for his own 3rd expansion, which is perfect. The starport going down as well, so really interesting to see how this one turns out. There we go, doing that rock breaking thing, which I was talking in one of my videos as well. As apparently it is because they actually misclick on the rocks every now and then and start to attack them instead by accident, which of course is not something you want to do. It's definitely a bit annoying and can possibly disrupt some of your micro as well. So more and more Phoenixes being thrown out here for Hawk. So definitely players seem to be very fond of Phoenixes lately. I wonder really why that is. I mean, they didn't get any buff because there hasn't been any major patch in quite some time. So it's, I suppose, maybe just a meta shift. There's a lot of Marines in the area right now, so it's going to be a bit dangerous for these Phoenixes. If they get out of position for just one moment, they will get absolutely decimated. Okay, proxy gateway being put down. It's very late for a proxy gateway if you ask me, but it's probably just there because if you warp in units next to a gateway, it essentially makes them warp in faster. Now this gets spotted pretty much immediately, which is a bit unfortunate because he's going to have to be cancelling that right now. And I believe he's going to cancel this. I mean, Hawk has no reason to keep this alive because there's no way to defend it at this point. There we go, cancellation going down. Now he's a bit oversaturated on his natural here. He does have a missile turret on the way as well, so definitely just being a bit wary of these Phoenixes. And 3rd base is already established. He's just not quite transferring his units or his command center over there. So would probably want to do that as soon as possible, just to basically get that economy rolling. It's definitely something you want to never fall behind a Protoss anyways. Protoss armies are so strong simply because they have the armor and shield. There we go. Phoenix is just getting a little bit out of position, lifting off one Marine as well. Poor little Marine. Command Center finally going down here. There's only a few Marines and Marauders here, so while he has the bigger army supply, it's not a very versatile army. He's only got Marines and Marauders, which I suppose you could call versatile because they can pretty much do anything. They can take out heavy units, they can take out light units, unless of course you've got Ultralisks, in which case they just piss in their boots. So let's see what our player is going to do here. Huck is kind of heavily favored right now in terms of worker supply. Worker supply though, I think that about 60 seems to be like a very sweet spot for worker supply. It's definitely, you know, somewhere where you want to be. And it looks like Huck going for another expansion now. The fact that he's still making probes, it's gonna boost his economy nicely, but I think that he's kind of overbuilding on them at the moment. I mean, yeah, a lot of economy is awesome, but when you have so many probes that it's diminishing the size of your army, that is not a good place to be in. Unless of course you plan on fighting with small armies all the time, in which case of course, you know, you can reinforce very quickly. You have a bunch of resources, and that is very important. Now, strangely enough, got a bit of a lag spike there. That's not something we see every day. Phoenix is just doing a bit of harassment and moving on away. Looks like we got a Templar Archives on the way, so gonna potentially see some Archons as well. Let's see, level 2 weapons also on the way. Level 1 shields, or armor rather, for bio units. And just a note, there is a Ghost Lab on the way, or Ghost Academy, which means that he's definitely interested in putting down some hurt on those shields. Ghost, of course, the natural counter to shielded units, simply because they can do that nice EMP snipe that they can do. Phoenix is moving out again. This base is already fully established. Does look like we've got just 2 cannons here, basically to defend any sort of minor engagement. Might also hold off a drop. And there we go. This getting cancelled pretty much immediately. He knows that if he's not careful, he could very well lose that Nexus. And let's see what these Marines manage to do here. Obviously, stimmed Marines have one of the highest DPS. Defender Circle is going to be going down here as well. And these units are going to be dropping like flies right now. Hawk is absolutely not scared here. He moves straight in, but at the same time, I think that he's just got decimated right here. Beastie Cutie with this Marine monster army just running straight into his base. I think this is pretty much it for Hawk. Beastie Cutie taking his first game of the series, and I'm just going to call it right here. There's probably no recovery out of this one whatsoever. Honestly, if I had to put a blame on something that Huck did in this one, I would probably say that he's just overbuilt his base. He's got 76 workers right now. He was worried so much about his economy, but not quite putting enough effort into his army supply. Whereas Beastie Cutie, off 3 bases, did just that, building a bunch of attacking units, and with that, just overrunning his base altogether. So good play here from Beastie Cutie. And I think, oh wow, that was the huge depowering of buildings. That's 5 gateways and a Templar Archives pretty much immediately. So Huck, are you going to GG out, or are you going to drag this on? Because honestly, at this point, there's not a whole lot that you can do with every one of your main base buildings being powered off. Or is he just typing a big long rage message? That could also very well be the case. Huck, we're waiting on you, buddy. 5 army supply. And there we go, GG is called. Finally leaving the game. So that is pretty much that. Game number 3, taken by Beastie Cutie, bringing the score up to 2 against 1 in favor of Huck. Okay, so I'm in between streams right now. Welcome to my streaming of Starcraft 2 casts. They're all live, so yeah. There is obviously not a whole lot of people here, but anybody that's watching is very much appreciated. And yeah, let's have a quick look. So I want to check this out as well if this works. Right, I'm gonna set up game number 4. There's only two games left. So 2 games left of this best of 5 series. Game number 3. Let's bring up game number 4, which is on my favorite map. Hell yes, Arena it is. Right. I love the fact that these 2 players are using different colors rather than the typical blue and red. And Patty is watching some series in the other room, or in the bedroom, so she's giving me the living room so I can actually cast some, which is pretty awesome. So this is probably going to be the last cast that I'm doing. It is getting a little bit late, and I am wrecked. I did have 8 hours of work today. So let's just get this game started. And switch ourselves over to the other game screen. Laptop. There we go. Okay, let's begin. Hello YouTube, welcome back to another game of Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. This is going to be game number 4 between our Terran and Protoss games. Terran and Protoss teams. It is Beastie Cutie versus Hawk. So let's see how this one plays out. Our quick question of this series is, how do you feel about the Zerg? Do you think that they're creepy? Do you think that they're weird? Do you think that they're awesome? Do you think that they're very interesting? Do you think their lore is interesting? I think it's pretty damn amazing. Let me know, and we'll see what kind of answers we have in the comment section below. Quick introduction of our players. On the bottom left hand side we've got Liquid Hawk. Sorry, not Liquid Hawk, he's on Team Evil Geniuses, and he's from Canada. And he's the orange Protoss here. Now his opponent going to be the yellow Terran, spawning on the top left hand side of Arena here, and he is from Serbia and representing Team True Esport. Good luck, have fun throwing out. This could very well be the last game. If you've missed the previous games, I really recommend looking at the description where you will find links to those. And you can of course watch those at your discretion. And this, by the way, is about to be spoiled. If you haven't seen the previous games, the score is about to be brought up, so I really recommend going to them right now. Let's see what our players are building here. Looks like he's bringing out Marines pretty much straight away, which is kind of interesting. I think that he's going to bring out a factory pretty much immediately here. And that's actually going to get spotted. Ooh. No, he's actually hiding it, so he's preventing that pro from seeing it. And there we go, finally throwing it down. Oh, command center being put down. So instead of a factory, he's actually putting down a command center, even though he's actually gone for, as you can see here, he has a refinery quite early. This is going to put down the factory right now, which, nope, doesn't appear to be the case. So scores are now coming on screen. 2-1 in favor of Hawk. So as I said, it's all about this last game, or the one after it, of course. If Beastie Cutie wins this one, it's going to be the one after this one. But Arena, one of my favorite maps, simply because I like the way it's laid out. I like this really aggressive position right in the middle of the map. It's just a very difficult place to hold, and as a Zerg player I hate it, but realistically I like the rush distance as well. So let's see, a factory is on the way here for Beastie Cutie. Does have a really funnily placed bunker here. Ooh, that adept not really going to be able to take it out. I mean, Adepts have a lot of health and shield, so going to be able to survive that quite easily. Psionic transfer about to be completed here as well. Just taking a bit of damage as well, so almost getting out of there without a scratch. Two gateways here. And just to know there's 2 gateways being built, so a total of 3. No extra tech at the moment, just the fact that he's building Blink, so gonna potentially see some Blink Stalkers here. Which, as I said, they just don't seem to be as popular as they used to be. It's kind of a strange one. They used to be pretty much every game in Wings of Liberty and Heartless Swarm was like a Blink Stalker fest. But these days, not so popular for reasons that are unknown to me. So just to note, there's still 2 gases here being fully mined here for our Protoss player. So Huck potentially going to go for either a Stargate or a robotics facility very, very shortly. Otherwise he wouldn't really have a reason to continuously mine gas the whole time. So a robotics bay or facility is what he's gone for. And let's see. So 2 more barracks being thrown down as well for Beastie Cutie. And everything is fine so far. I mean, it's quite a standardized game. There's no huge amounts of aggression. 10 supply for army versus 17, which is, you know, not a huge amount at all. 3rd base coming down here for Huck as well. So obviously thinking a bit about the economy right now. It doesn't look like there's actually a command center coming down for Beastie at the moment. And just doing a bit of scouting. Is probably a little bit wary at the moment, just wondering if there's going to be a 3rd base or not, or rather a sneaky base or not, because of course getting a sneaky base with Protoss is definitely something you don't want to let happen. If you're underestimating your opponent's economy, then at that point you can be taken out very, very quickly. So double forge coming down as well here, so basically going to be bringing up those upgrades, and I assume this is going to be level 1 attack and level 1 armor, because that seems to be quite typical for Protoss right now. And let's see, so yep, that's exactly what he's going for. Looks like Zealot legs also being upgraded, so going to potentially see a bunch of Zealots being warped in, maybe even inside the base, so just harassment with warp prisms. But as you can see here, there is a few missile turrets being put down, and this is just to prevent those warp prisms from flying in freely. Now Cyclone is in play. Cyclone's quite good against pretty much anything flying from Protoss. Let's see here, fully saturated bases. This one is almost there. 3 bases for Huck. Now I hope he's not going to overcompensate on the economy here and just continue to make it, because if he does that, it's not really going to end up well for him, because simply he's just not going to have enough army to deal with the Terran army, which you can see at the moment is starting to grow as well. He's got 39 supply in favor of 27, and he's still making more Marines. Does have command center on the way. Inside the main, actually, not inside the expansion. And this hallucinated Phoenix is going to pretty much show everything for him. So he sees pretty much everything on the map. Just a few Blink Stalkers on the map. Now I don't think they're going to be able to hold off against this amount of Terran units. If Beastie decided to move out right now, he probably would lose a lot of units, but he would of course probably win the game at this point. With just 1 Immortal versus 2 siege tanks, not going to end very well. Now opting to go for these rocks just to break them down, and that's probably just so he can, ooh, interesting enough, Stalker's moving past all the Terran units. He could actually get cut off here. If he gets cut off, this is going to be absolutely massive. He does not know that this Terran army is here, and they're going to be moving in straight from behind. He decides to go all the way into the main base. Now, are the blinks ready? They're not just yet. There is still a few seconds remaining. Are they going to get cleaned up? Managing to snipe off. I believe this siege tag is going to get cleaned up here. And there we go. Does get it. Unfortunately, does not get any of the economy, which I think is what he wanted to do. But unfortunately, getting blocked off by the supply depots. And I think that was a huge loss for Hawk right now. Let's have a quick look at units lost. He's lost 9 stalkers in favor of a siege tank and probably just a few marine marauders. Definitely not worth it, in my opinion. And let's see. Oh my god, that is a lot of zealots. Now, just to note, these zealots do have legs upgrade, as you can see here. He has blink as well, but doesn't really have any stalkers here. Concussive shells are in play here for marauders, so if he gets a few marauders out, which he does indeed have, he will be able to kite these units around for quite a while. And there we go. Oh my god, so much damage being done with those zealots. Just once they start attacking it, it's just ridiculous the amount of damage they can pull off. I don't think that force field is a very good option right now with a bunch of zealots in the front. I mean, yeah, you might block off a few Terrans or a few Marines, but they can fire from behind the Protoss force field, and of course they can take out pretty much every one of your zealots with that. Fort base going down for Hawk, and as I was saying earlier, I really hope he's not going to overbuild on his bases right now. He does have a base here which could potentially use a transfer. But hasn't done a whole lot just yet. So let's see, this just poking around on that a little bit. And looking at army supply, I think that Hawk is at a bit of an advantage here. I mean, he's got the bigger number, but you know what, I'm not even going to say that he's... Oh, a drop going down here, I almost missed that as well. A bunch of Marines being dropped, one Marauder, and straight onto these Stalkers, or the Stalkers blinking straight onto the Marines. Now, he pretty much sacrificed those Stalkers, at least most of them, just to basically take out the medevacs, because if you're going to sacrifice units, you might as well sacrifice them and at least take something in return. Otherwise, of course, if you come out below that far, it's not a good trade-off at all. So this base is about to be fully established. Level 2 armor is on the way for Protoss. Ooh, that's nice. Psychic Storm, or Psionic Storm rather, being researched as well. So this is essentially to deal with any sort of marine aggression. So marine armies are very, very susceptible to Psionic Storms. Spotting what's going on with that one medevac, or one marine, marauder. English is not working right now. Looks like we've got level 2 weapons on the way also. And what is he going to do with this drop? Again, stimming in here, but getting warded off. One poor marauder being left behind, while all of his buddies escape to safety. Now, there is ghosts on the way. There's level 2 armor and attack for bioweapon or bio units as well. So definitely putting a lot of focus on those bio units. Now, 11 minutes for level 2 is not very early. It's just the fact that he's basically continuing on with the production, so you might as well upgrade them. Now, these stalkers could very well be distractions. I mean, he's got the main army down there and just 5 stalkers over here. But these stalkers, oh nice, and he just doing exactly what he wants to do here, basically baiting a few units to come out and then engaging onto them with the main army. Now 4 Archons inside this army going to be very, very dangerous, particularly against bio armies, because not only are Archons good against bio, they also do splash damage, which, you know, having a bunch of Marines clumped up is not a good thing for your Marines to have at all. So how is he going to continue on here? It's a bit of a difficult situation for him right now, because he's got the Liberators in the air. He can't really attack this base really effectively without losing too many units. And he could also get surrounded over here if he gets too close. But at the same time, he's got such a nice army, so he's definitely in a position to do some aggression. Does have a War Prism in the back there, so I wonder what he's going to do with that. Ooh, upgrades. So it looks like there was a fusion core put down, so basically getting the upgrade for his Liberators so that he can put down the Liberator circles a little bit further away. Now, managing to snipe off one Liberator there is quite crucial. Every Liberator right now is very important. Now again, using his Stalkers to just do a bit of baiting. interestingly enough, a base being put down on the gold here, which is a very sneaky one. Funny enough, I have never seen this done so far. None of my casts have actually had this implemented. So definitely very interesting to have that here. Engagement going down. Oh, Psychic Storms. Very, very nice against all of those Marines. Pushing them back, doing so much damage right now. GG has been called. 36 army supply remaining. And that is pretty much that. Huck taking the series 3-1 against Beastie Cutie. Meaning he is going to be continuing on to round of 16. Where we're probably only going to get to that in probably about a week or so, because that is still a fair bit away. Okay, and that is pretty much it. I will be finishing up with that. So Huck did take that. I did lie. There was not a 5th game. Just trying to avoid some spoilers. So that is pretty much that. I hope you have enjoyed it, because I have as well. This is working really well. So I think personally I will continue to stream through YouTube, because it's just a better option altogether. I think that it just works better. There's no lag on the stream as well, and it gives me the option to do 1080p. And if people are not able to play it, if their bandwidth is too small, or if they have a smaller device, at least they're able to, you know, to scale it down to 360, 480, 720, whichever one you prefer. So definitely something interesting, and I will have to continue on with the YouTube one, because I think that streaming on the platform that I am, you know, mainly focusing on is definitely a worthy thing to do. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for joining, whoever is still here and whoever is joining me right now. I am unfortunately leaving right now, so that's pretty much it. Good luck, take care, see you guys next time, and again, thanks for joining. And thank you for watching all of it, by the way, Mikołaj. I appreciate that. Right, I am tired. 2 hours of casting after a full day of work is a difficult thing to do. And that's pretty much it. I'll end it here. Anyways, good luck, take care, bye bye.